Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Wednesday, the 11th day of March, 2026. I hope you're all safe and healthy today. Hope your families are safe and healthy and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the area of health, along with first responders, every day doing their best to save lives. Those also that pick up garbage, keep our cities and towns clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children, victims of child molestation and pedophilia. Those that are helping the people that are victims of prostitution, child prostitution, pornography, child pornography, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses on the perpetrators, profiteers, and perverts that keep these things in existence. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. More than 700,000 men, women, children, families, senior citizens, military veterans, homeless in the United States of America. Blessings upon them. For theirs is the kingdom. Tonight, the Knicks will be playing a basketball game in Utah, Salt Lake City, Utah, against the Utah Jazz. This would be the Knicks' fourth road game. They had just played 3 games in 4 nights as of Sunday, playing Los Angeles, and then Monday against the Clippers, Lakers Clippers. Today they'll be playing in Utah. Now, as brutal as the NBA regular season schedule is, and it is brutal. And the thing is that I know that there's some that are advocating for a shorter season and some that are advocating for the elimination of back-to-backs. To me, that just adds to the drama of who comes out on top. I don't think, and unfortunately, I think a lot of people look at the NBA like they're looking at college, like the rankings, and this team is better, and this team's automatically the better team wins. And the brutality of the schedule eliminates that. So that, as we said, on any given night, any team could beat any other team. And a lot of the determination is based on energy level, as we talk about, as well as health. So on any given night, a team that is ranked high or that's top of the top 3 or 4 in either conference could lose to a team that's in the bottom, that's not even in the play-in range, because of those 2 factors. It could be energy and injuries. So the Knicks, just like every other team, are going through the same thing. And tonight, when they're playing Utah, every once in a while, in spite of how brutal the schedule is, every once in a while, you get a situation where your team is clearly better. And so what you have to do to ensure that you win the game is to execute your team's game plan. Okay? So the Knicks and the Utah Jazz are in different orbits. The Jazz are trying to rebuild while keeping some star talent like Jaren Jackson Jr., who's out, Lauri Markkanen, who's out, and try to keep them while building young players like Keontae George, okay? So that's what they're trying to do, and that's cool. That's part of a process of a rebuild. The Knicks went through that as well. While the Knicks are an established veteran team with the championship window open, okay? So after having lost 2 in a row in Los Angeles, after beating Denver on Friday, the first game of the trip, then losing the next 2, and they were back-to-backs, and we didn't have Mitchell Robinson or Deuce McBride in the second part. Tonight is one of those games where what you have to do is, you're clearly the better team. So what you have to do, you can't sleep on the Jazz, because they will beat you. This is the NBA. They can come with high energy. They can come, and a lot of times that happens against the Knicks. People want to have career games against good teams like the Knicks. You have to execute your game plan. Now, over the last 2 games, the Knicks have committed too many turnovers. So tonight, a focus will probably be limiting our turnovers, which means Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Karl Anthony Towns have to be careful, treat that basketball with more respect. And don't just throw it away. So we want to keep the turnovers down. 12 or less, I would say, would be a realistic thing. I know, we'd like to have single-digit turnovers. That'd be great. But realistically, we can keep it down to 12 or less. Do what they have been doing, even in losses, guarding the paint. And especially, I got to give Jalen Brunson credit. He has really stepped up his defensive game in guarding the paint, being at that point of attack. You don't want to depend on him to be the main guy, and the Knicks don't. That's why we have a Landry Shamet. That's why we have a Deuce McBride. That's why we have a Jose Alvarado. That's why we have those guys, because they will guard the paint like dogs and make sure, fight like dogs and make sure somebody don't get in. But Brunson has been really doing much better, and he made some very key defensive moves in the last couple of games that caused stops. And I just noticed those things because I'm a defensive oriented fan. So I'm looking at the defense, I'm looking at how they move, I'm looking at how they fit together, I'm looking who's making mistakes and missing assignments. And usually it's the same three guys for the most part. It's Brunson, Mikal Bridges, and Josh Hart. Though sometimes it's Karl Anthony Towns too. But lately, all of them have really been stepping up their defensive game. So I'm looking for them to protect the paint. Tonight they will have Mitchell Robinson, who usually does have good games against Utah, probably because of the Walker Kessler rumors. And then you're going to have, your normal contingent of guys. So tonight, Josh is game time decision with the knee, but we know how Josh is. There's probably an 80% chance he plays. But if he doesn't play, we're not worried about that because we still got Landry Shamet. And he can step in and do his thing. So we have the lineup we're going to want. We're going to have the depth today. So you may see some Shohan. You're definitely going to see Mo Diawara, right? You're going to see Mitchell Robinson. You're going to see Jose Alvarado. If Shamet starts, you may see some Jordan Clarkson because Jordan Clarkson's a two guard. Okay, so you might see that. And Brown has been playing some of those guys just to give rest in this grinding road trip to the regular rotation guys. That's why you got end of the bench dudes that can step in for a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and give you a regular rotation guys, especially like I said, on a 5-game grind like they're in right now, some rest. So that you might see. But your main rotation guys, which tonight, if Josh is out, will be 8. And then you'll have a couple of other guys. Like I mentioned, you might have some Sohan, you might have some Jordan Clarkson thrown in there. But those guys need to come with the correct. So you got to have the ball movement, protect your paint, get boards, and then hopefully you got enough legs to hit your open shots. The thing is, in the last 2 games the Knicks lost, it wasn't because the 2 Los Angeles teams played tremendous defense. And I'm not saying they don't. But the Knicks got a lot of open looks that they just couldn't hit because of tired legs. So I'm hoping tonight, especially from guys, like there's certain guys that we know are going to take the most shots and get the most open looks. Landry Shamet is one. Brunson's another. And then there's OG. Now, Mikal, again, some of y'all still ain't caught that memo. He don't get open shots unless the ball is moving. So we need ball movement to activate Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges is not an off the floor type of player. He did it in Brooklyn, but that was an anomaly. If you want to see real Mikal Bridges, go back to what he was doing in Phoenix, and then of course what he's been doing in New York. That's real Mikal Bridges. He's not your number one option. That's why Brooklyn sucked when they had him as the number one option. He is, though, a perfect third option, and especially if the ball is moving option, because he's gonna do some big things for you. And when the game is played efficiently, you're gonna see fourth quarter Mikal, especially on the defensive end. So the ball must move, which means Jalen Brunson has to recognize the ball must move, and he has been. He really has, especially in the last week. So Brunson keeps that ball moving, goes through Cat most of the time. Cat does his thing because I don't. Once Cat has the basketball, I am very confident he knows what he's doing with the ball. Like, he's not trying to hog the ball. He's trying to create a play, which means it might be a pass, it could be a jump shot, it could be going to the hole. But he's trying to create a play. He's trying to make a play. And he's looking for where the play is. I think that's really a function. I got to give John Calipari a lot of credit because that's really a function of how he learned the game. Whereas, like Juju, coming out of Kentucky, he was like, he had more of that Kobe mentality. He's going to take all the shots, but then he wasn't playing no defense. But now he does. Now the new Juju, the modern Juju, has picked up his game, and he's a two-way player. And so Cat starting with Calipari, coming into the league, and now having played with Minnesota and now New York, you're seeing a much more polished Cat. And I don't think people appreciate that, and actually I don't care. I just don't want you whining about it to me. But he's much more polished now. So I am very confident if the offense if he gets the ball in his hands, I said just give him the damn ball. If he gets the ball in his hands, he's gonna know what to do. Whether it's pass, shoot, drive, whatever. He's gonna know what to do. Set a pick and roll, he does all that. So, and he does it at an elite level. So if we could get him the ball, and then Brunson could go off ball and get most of his points, that is Jalen Brunson, off assists from somebody, that's when the Knicks are at their best. So tonight, I guess is what all of this I'm saying, it's a get right type of game, okay? And it's perfect timing. A get right type of game on the road, okay? It's perfect timing. So if they can get themselves together against Utah tonight and get on the road and get this dub, that's going to help a lot. Last night, Boston lost. And they lost last night, and I believe they got a game coming up. It's either tonight or tomorrow against Oklahoma City in Oklahoma City. Like last night, they lost to San Antonio. I watched the end of that game. That was a tremendous game. And the fact, it's interesting how the matchups work. Boston matches up well with San Antonio. But what happened last night, to be honest with you, is Jaylen Brown got thrown out the game. That affected the game. He got thrown out, I think, in the first half. That affected the game. And so that's why. And Tatum, I'm watching Tatum. Tatum, only thing is his timing's a little off. Like, Tatum likes to take one dribble from, like, the top of the key and do a long finger roll to the basket. And he's really good at it. He was missing those yesterday. In about 2 weeks, he's not going to be missing those. Okay? And then he was a little off on his timing on his jumper. But one thing, guess what I'm saying is, dude is healthy, and come playoff time, they're going to be dangerous. So Jaylen Brown lasted 15 minutes in the game yesterday, and he got thrown out. That's why they lost. So Boston matches up very well with San Antonio. We also match up very well with San Antonio. And San Antonio could dominate OKC. It's very strange, but that's how it works. And we know if we're at full strength and Boston's at full strength, we could play Boston. We beat them last year. Last year we just beat them. So we could, and even though it's a different coach, basically the personnel are the same, especially the rotation personnel, except now we added Mo Diawara, and they subtracted Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford, and Jrue Holiday. Now, apparently it don't matter because they still pushing to get to the top of the East. So they're going to be a problem. But the good thing is that the Knicks match up well. That's the key. The Knicks match up well with Boston. Detroit gives us a tougher matchup. So last year, the Knicks played Detroit first. And that war that we had against Detroit prepared us for Boston. Okay? And I believe that helped us beat Boston. That preparation through the war we had with Malik, with Asar, with Cade, that war we got with them prepared us for Boston. So Detroit's a little tougher for us, and that's one of the challenges the Knicks have to, and I believe we will. The Knicks have to figure out how to beat Detroit in a 7-game series, and Boston as well. So, but Boston is going to be tough because I'm watching them last night. Like I said, they're playing San Antonio toe-to-toe. No Jaylen Brown. And real reason I think they lost that game is there are shots that Tatum was going to hit. Normally, in a normal Tatum year, he's going to hit them. And he just wasn't hitting them last night because his timing is off. That's all it was. And I'm like, in about 2 weeks, this cat's going to be all-world Jason Tatum. So he's going to be a problem. So, but if you recall, the Knicks was beating they behind before he got hurt. It was just academic after he got hurt. But the momentum was Knicks' way when we was beating them last year in the playoffs. So we could play with them, okay? Especially when we get our full contingent and Deuce gets back. Deuce is going to be a big key because you already got Shaman. You already got Alvarado. You now have Mo D. You already have Mitchell Robinson. The Knicks are gonna be a problem come playoff time. That's why everybody whining about the Knicks losing a couple of games now. I don't even want to hear. You disgust me. I don't even want to talk to you. But come playoff time, this team gonna be a problem. So it's gonna be a dog fight to the end. Tonight is a get right type of game. So again, guard the paint, limit the turnovers. Okay, guard the paint, limit the turnovers. You're gonna get open looks, knock down your open looks, and on the defensive end, guard that 3-point line on the weak side. Guard that 3-point line. The thing is, Utah got some shooters. Utah can score. The problem with Utah is they don't play defense, but that's indicative of a young team. But they give up 124 points a game and score 117. So they're upside down on the differential, but they could score though. And so if you're not guarding that 3-point line, they could kill you. Now tonight they're gonna be missing Marketing, who's a major factor at the 3-point line for them. But they're gonna have Keontae George, who the boy is a problem. He's a young boy, but he is a problem. Okay, and he's gonna be there. And he also is now a developing Knick killer. So Keontae George is a problem, and they're gonna have him. He's listed as questionable with an illness, but I think he probably plays. He puts up 37% from three. Okay, not gonna have Walker Kessler today. Filipowski, I think they're gonna have him. They're gonna come at you today. They're gonna be a problem. They really are. They're gonna be a problem today. So we gotta be ready for them. And again, weak side 3-point defense, major thing. Gotta be ready. Again, this is a get right game. So let's get right in Utah. Y'all enjoy the game. Don't go too crazy. We'll talk afterwards. Be safe. Shalom.